I hate that it has come to this, but it has come to this. The president of Mexico, Claudia Sheinbaum, is now, and yes, I'm using this term, trolling Trump back. Not only do we have Trump doing and saying what he's doing and saying, but then, and I think this is honestly a rational response, but he then creates an environment where world leaders are sort of joking with each other about massive subjects that I would prefer them not joke about. This comes in the wake of Trump announcing that he's going to change. Does he have this power? Who knows? He's going to change the Gulf of Mexico name to the Gulf of America, because that's how we're going to lower egg prices. That's how we're going to secure the border. Gulf of America, baby. We're back. And Claudia Sheinbaum had a response that I honestly think this is how you deal with Trump, is you show him how unserious he's being by being equally sort of trolly, which I think is the vibe coming from this. But here is an AI translated version of what she had to say in response to Trump's announcement. This comes in the wake of Trump also saying he's going to implement these massive tariffs that is going to launch us into a trade war with Canada and Mexico and China. Because why not? Who cares about actually governing rationally anymore? While you watch this, please do click the subscribe button if you appreciate this show. Here is Mexican President Sheinbaum.
Obviously, Gulf of Mexico is name recognized by the United Nations. It's an organization of the United Nations, but the next question is, why don't we call it Mexican America? It sounds nice, doesn't it? Right. Since 1607, the Apatzingan Constitution referred to it as Mexican America. So, let's call it Mexican America. It sounds nice, doesn't it? And Gulf of Mexico, well, you see, since 1607, and it's also recognized internationally. Well, historically speaking, because as you might know, I know they're going to ask me. I think that yesterday, President Trump, they misinformed President Trump, with all due respect, because I believe they told him that Felipe Calderon and Garcia Luna were still in power in Mexico.
Okay. So none of this is doing anything. This is not making progress. But I think, like I said before, is the way you respond to Trump trolling on this, or if he's not, is the way that you respond to him seriously proposing this in addition to all of his other wild proposals by just also sort of trolling back, mocking him back, holding a little press conference where you say, well, we're going to refer then to these swaths of territory as Mexican America. The outgoing Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau also responded to Trump saying that Canada is going to become the first 51st state, and Trump refused, as I'll remind you of here in a second, to say that he wouldn't use the military as it pertains to, I guess that was in relation to Greenland and the Panama Canal, but such language is obviously destabilizing and frightening to our allies, such as Canada, and the response from Trudeau was there isn't a snowball's chance in hell that Canada would become part of the United States. Workers and communities in both our countries benefit from being each other's biggest trading and security partner. I've seen this point going around as well, which is, if I can get, I guess I don't have the actual tweet, but people have been posting a very fair point, which is that if indeed this is not a serious proposal, let's not treat it as such, let's not call it Trump's potential plan for expanding the United States. No, he's just saying random stuff to distract people from his wacky policies that actually will be consequential and harm their lives. But if they're focused on how we're going to annex Greenland, then maybe they're less focused on the tariff outcomes that could happen. But if we were treating this seriously, hey, Republicans, how do you think a Canadian state would vote politically? They're used to universal health care. They're used to things that would definitely not make them vote in large part Republican. And then you had a Canadian MP saying this.
So no, sorry. And I really also take offense, sorry, Mr. Trump, took offense to your idea that Pierre Poilievre wasn't good enough to lead the Conservatives. Wayne Gretzky, I mean, he's great. He is the great one. He skates to where the puck is going. It's not going to MAGA. The puck is on a Canadian ice rink. And by the way, Mr. Trump, please, before making public pronouncements that Wayne Gretzky should run for prime minister, give yourself or get yourself a briefing on the nature of parliamentary democracy, a Westminster parliamentary system and a constitutional monarchy where no one runs for prime minister. We have elections for members of parliament. We don't get to pick and choose among our billionaire friends for who gets a seat at the cabinet table. If they're not an elected member of parliament, well, Canadian system is different from that of the United States of America. I suggest that Mr. Trump find one of his grandchildren's school books and look at the year 1776, which may explain a few things to him about why our systems of government are different. I don't want to belittle Mr. Trump, but on the other hand, hey, Donald, have we got a deal for you? You think we want to be the 51st state? Nah, but maybe California would like to be the 11th province. How about it? California, Oregon, Washington, you've got geography in common with us. And not only that, we've already got a carbon trading system between California and Quebec. We've got some strong alliances on our west coast from British Columbia. There's been a lot of...
Okay, so you get the point. Doing a similar thing as Sheinbaum, which is instead of going, which is what Trump wants the reaction to be, oh my gosh, we're so scared. Oh, big Trumpy Dumpy, can I please go meet with you and kiss your rear end? Instead, it's, all right, we'll be silly too. But that's not accomplishing anything for people. But again, I think it's totally justified. This might get under Trump's skin more. This might make him feel like he's not owning them as much as he expected. Her response being, maybe you should read one of your grandchildren's books. That's brutal. That's a shot taken. And I think some of these folks have learned from the first Trump administration in how nothing bothers Trump more than not being taken seriously. But again, I want to keep emphasizing, because this isn't about jumping in and going, whoa, we're now cheerleading whoever will speak out against Trump. Because this is still a bad situation to be in, where our focus is on anything other than actual consequential issues that we actually intend on doing something about. And that's what Trump is desperately trying to keep us looking away from. That's what this is about. When people believe they have a perception that Trump is strong and fighting for them, often it comes from these symbolic gestures of masculinity that have nothing to do with actual policies that improve their lives. Here is Hakeem Jeffries, the House Minority Leader, speaking on this.
Chair Jeffries, thank you. What kind of dialogue have you had with the incoming administration, the incoming president, especially given that he'll be on the Hill later today?
It's not my expectation to have any conversation at any point today, but we are looking forward to the dialogue to come in the next few weeks, and thereafter to find the common ground necessary in order to get things done for the American people. House Democrats believe that we are not sent to Washington to invade Greenland, rename the Gulf of Mexico, or seize the Panama Canal by force. We were sent to Washington to lower the high cost of living in the United States of America. America is too expensive for working class families and for middle class folks all across the country. That should be our mission, and that's what we're going to focus on over the next few years.
Yeah, I get that's a fine contrast, having, hey, we're focused on serious stuff. We weren't sent here to it's all jokes, so we should treat it like that, to joke around about how we're going to invade. But listen here to Tim Pool talk about, and this is a right-wing commentator, talk about this proposal from Trump. One of the many. Again, I'm taking all of the unserious, oh, I'm a big strong man things and we talk about them all at once, okay? So you have let's take Canada, let's take Greenland, Panama Canal. Are there any others recently? I'm sure I'm missing some. But he's tossing, and then renaming the Gulf of Mexico. There we go. I knew I was missing something. And all of these, unserious, we shouldn't treat them that way. But one of them, Tim Pool says, maybe I have an idea on this.
I think we should invade Canada, remove their government, and then relinquish control. So I think it was, who was it? Was it Polk? The U.S. basically won Mexico in a war. And then Polk was like, Mexico, you can have it back. We don't want it. And a lot of Americans were pissed about it. They're like, whoa. We won this in conquest, and you gave up all this land. So I'm looking at it this way. We can look at the Canadian government and see it's in total disarray. And I'm half kidding. Calm down, liberals and corporate press. But if the U.S. putting pressure on Canada, like Trump did with Trudeau.
Okay, half kidding. What's the other half? You see, he's half kidding, Trump's half kidding, we're all half kidding. Well, then what are we doing? What are we accomplishing? But what I've heard, Trump said specifically, the president-elect's not supposed to half kid about military invasions. Is that really that crazy of a standard? So Trump was asked, will you use the military as it relates to Canada and Greenland? Again, I keep misstating that. As it relates to the Panama Canal and Greenland. But again, it represents a broader, approach to using our military for crazy things. Okay. Then Tim Pool comes in and says, I'm kind of kidding, but like, what if we invaded Canada? And these are the same people Trump was saying he's about isolation. We're going to get out of foreign conflicts. I'm not going to go get involved and meddle in other people's affairs. And now he's saying we're going to get so involved that we're going to risk and sacrifice American soldiers' lives. That's what would happen if we invaded a country militarily. Almost inevitably. Because why? You can try to answer that question in the comments. Get the bonus show, support this program by clicking that join button below.